Hello, welcome to the inventories. Today I would like to do something different. Don't worry, I will still try to follow that one last ride because I have an idea how to follow the next chapter yet. I'm having some problems with my muse and some problems in real life, like adjusting to new schedules. And those new schedules are being a thing that I must do, like get used to. I don't know why, but I always have the problem with some when those things change. I take a time to get used to them. It's weird for me. Anyhow, this time I would like to speak like making a little reflection, a little, let's say, thinking exercise. I am no genius. I am no giant philosopher. Nothing. I'm just a guy who likes to think a lot, and that sometimes brings me problems. But when I think about it, sometimes I think that if I don't think that much, maybe I'm not myself. Maybe that's part of who I am, who I have become, and it's part of like a cornerstone of my personality and who I am. It's what makes me think that maybe some people who everyone could say that are bad, there could still be kindness and good things. It's the part of me that says that sometimes you just gotta enjoy the moment. You don't need pictures of everything sometimes, or it's the thing that makes me say like, okay, I could come home early, but I don't have anything in the middle, so maybe I take a long walk and see around. I'm a guy that simply thinks about how people live their lives and how I live mine and how I try to become a better person myself. Because I know I'm not exactly top quality human. Like, I'm not like Robin Williams, I'm not like Jackie Chan, I am not like, just naming some of my idols. I am not one of those guys. I am not like some guy who, even when it's at the top, it's basically the same human being and has its own ideas and it's true to itself. I try to be true to myself the most I can. Yet I know that being true to myself doesn't mean that that truth is actually something good all the time. I know I'm complex and twisted sometimes when I'm thinking things. I take a lot of reasoning and possibilities in check, and I like to do things differently than other people. I am not exactly one in the common way of thinking things. If there is a common way, maybe there is statistically, but what I think to myself is that there are things in this world that are quite confusing to me. Like, I hear these stories, like common stories from many people around news and media and things like that. And when I hear them, either I get tired because I feel like it's the same story with a different color, or I feel dumbfounded because I can't believe people can just reach those results without critical thinking. I mean, if they have critical thinking, they wouldn't reach that. For example, um, sometimes I think about how relationships work now. You know, like I understand it's difficult to find the right person for you, and I have been in a few relationships myself, some a little complicated, and I regret any of them. To be fair, I haven't regret a single one. Do I regret something I did? A few things, dumb things most of the time. Like, the dumb things that you do when you are starting in a relationship, you don't have much game or idea because this is your first shot at it. And you're quite worried that you might screw up. And you actually screw up, and you do it magnificently. Because it's your first screw up, so it's basically a nuclear bomb of, oh shit. But that's basically how it works. People need to make mistakes to become better than those mistakes. Sometimes I wonder how people understand or define love. What is love? What is passion or interest? What is that keeps those people together? What is that makes them be attracted to one another? What is that makes someone feel that way? Where does that spark come from? Every person has a different way of expressing love, of feeling love, understanding its love. In my case, I have the sensation of it, but I never go straight into it because, first of all, I don't wanna basically give illusions to anyone about how things are. I like to be 100% honest all the time, and I think that's a problem sometimes because I'm no filter honest. What I see is what I say, and what you see is what you get. I always try to think most calmly and reasonably about most things, and I have gone through a lot of work on my life to become a better person, a better for myself to say, I'm a little better than yesterday. I like to think that and feel that. But well, given that I am also sometimes confused about how people value each other in a relationship. Because I see like there are many stories about women who say their man is not good enough. Sometimes it's for money, and I say, well, why wasn't that one of the things I just said to him the first time you met him? Because I hear those stories sometimes from women who express that like they are married to a guy for a long time and then they start berating the guy because he doesn't earn as much money, so she doesn't have what she wants and she feels less loved due to that, which to me sounds materialistic and superficial to me. And then say love is like some of those old romantic movies. Some of those are creepy these days. And then I start thinking about how many toxic relationships work, as I have seen some of my friends or people getting into those. I don't understand that, like, it's very complex to simply describe it in a few things, but to me, there are three things that, like, pop out the most in those scenarios. One, men are desperate to find someone to love them. And in this climate right now, it's difficult for a straight man, and I say straight because there is a lot of LGBTQ talking in many media and all of that, and it's difficult for a simple man like that to actually find love on those issues because sometimes I don't know how, but that became something politicized and it became something like it could be a source of friction when you're trying to interact with someone. I'm not sure exactly how to point it out because I know these people exist and they are people, nothing more than that. But they make it so flamboyant and impactful, like it's the flavor of the year or something like that. I see a lot of franchises that have been in the media just basically putting more diverse cast members for that sake or trying to go through those scenarios, changing the blood of some characters to make these people feel more comfortable, which, to be fair, it's okay, yet I feel they are overdoing it a little bit. it's not like you need every story to have a certain characteristic by protocol to make it work. And I see that like that idea of a characteristic as a protocol to make something work. That it's another thing that always pops up in some relationships. Like there is one detail sometimes. You don't know which is one. Like you don't know which detail is. It could be something big, something small. You have no idea until you face it. And it's never mentioned beforehand. But when you land on the landmine, it will explode. Just one trigger and it's a deal breaker. It differs from relation to relation, and even in friendships or romantic relationships, that happens. And I don't understand how that it's so important sometimes. Like, I mean, it could have weight for the other person. It could be something very important to that person, which I totally respect. But at the same time, why go straight for the breakdown and deal breaker and cut this person from your life straight away? Why there is no debate in the middle that is not, of course, screaming in the face of this guy because he made a mistake? I see a lot of people who are just hypocritical, who think a lot about themselves lately. Like, not in the healthy way where you say, I put myself first so I can then put others first too, because I love myself so I can love other people as well. It's more like I love myself so I am completely good and perfect, which sounds kinda narcissistic to my side. But that's what I don't get. It's like sometimes people are looking for someone who loves them almost like if they were a deity. Like, this person loves you so much, it's so dependent on you, you're the source of the life in that relationship, and without you, everything goes kaput. What's with the dependency? What's up with all that need from people to people that it's not like trying to bond and understand and know it's a slow process that needs work and all of that. And some people just want to make a click like this and simply find like a Prince Charming or the woman of their lives in some ludicrous event of quite quite fast pace. I don't get it. What about the romantic side of that, which is seen toxic for most people because nowadays you can't just see a girl by the street and ask, "Hey, hello, excuse me, I know this could be a problem or maybe bother you. I just wanted to say that I was having a terrible day and I found you, and I would like to, well, see if there may be a chance for us to meet again because I think you're very pretty or something like that. Not going straight into something invasive, trying to simply ask and compliment someone. Give someone some nice words. Try to be polite. Try to be rational. Get near people because if it's not with one of these, seems like we're not getting closer to each other. Like not all people are good. We know that. But not all people are evil also. How can we live in a place where we fear the contact to other people, to know the unknown, to adventure and try to find answers in other person? What is that? And then of course is the objectification. Sorry, I said it fast and I don't know if that sounded right, but why is that always like they say they objectify women, but those same women then go and look like top models of not exactly a very, you know, prude, or they don't come from an Amish camp, and they dance to music which literally rates them or only speaks about sex in most times. Like, I have seen the lyrics and are quite suggestive, to say the least. Like, straight on to that. There's no smooth talking. There is no subjectiveness there. It's like almost to the point of saying something you couldn't say in any church, because first, if you do, I would say you have a great amount of guts to say those things in a church. But to me, it seems interesting how biased that is, because some people are looking for like the perfect partner sometimes, or the perfect friend, the perfect person to be by, and there is no perfect people. Where are you gonna find that perfect partner or person? And because they want perfect, they don't see that there is some beauty in not perfect. And when you find someone that you think it's perfect and you discover that it's not perfect, that comes as a shock to you. Like if any other human being in the world could not be somehow kind of a pain in the ass. I know I am. Sometimes I'm truly a pain in the ass. But that does not make me entirely evil, I think. Now, there are some behaviors, of course, that are quite dangerous. But where do we draw the line? Where is the point when we can actually think that we are okay with our current relationship situation among every human in this world? From romantic relationships to friendship to family relationships to any kind of bond. When will we be satisfied with that? When are we gonna do that? Because we're always sometimes either demanding more from someone or either berating ourselves because we are not enough. There are people who feel that, or they have these illusion moments where they think that they found the one and start to go through it. And when the illusion is destroyed and the reality before you is a different thing, it comes as a shock. But even though some steps are necessary for the development of someone into someone more intuitive and rational at the moment of a relationship, sometimes I think that maybe we need to rethink how we treat people and how we relate to each other. Like, some protocols, do we need to follow them? Do we need to actually be like this to be with someone, to give happiness to someone? Do we really need to give happiness to someone? When does my happiness comes and ends? It's a long process of thinking to me. It's not something that you can make click in a second with someone and suddenly all your problems are solved. That only works in movies. And it's a kind of an old story, but right now I feel like it's not quite realistic. I always think that people can be better. Why can't we think that even in the imperfect, even in the bad, things can be better? Sometimes you gotta let people go. Sometimes you gotta push through. But there is no absolute answer, there is no absolute solution to anything. You just live the way you try to live. And for that same coin, you should understand that everyone is doing the same. We don't need to think ourselves to be above others to feel pride. Neither we need to feel very little to be more humble than others. We just need to be ourselves. And the first step to me to reach some truth and control of our lives is to think and say that who I am, what do I want, what do I do, and don't think about the opinions or influences of others in the midst, at least not in the level that would change your decision. Think for yourself and say, without shame, without fear, without regret, what you really want to do. How close can you be to that goal? Is it a realistic goal? What do you really want, need, and can do? And from that, then you can think about your relationships like this person that I'm looking for, what I'm looking for, because I am like this, but what would I want? And then, how close can I be to that what I want? How are my chances of being actually good for someone like that as I am today? And you have a lot of questions that will come from that. You will start to think about how you look, how you are, how you behave. You need sometimes an influence to think about yourself. You need to understand that there is good and evil in every person, and sometimes evil triumphs good, sometimes good triumphs evil. But the weird thing is that in the concept of love and relationships, sometimes even evil can be with good if that evil it's good to the person that is good, and the same goes for the other person where although it's comfortable with that evil part of itself, it sees the good as something like that. In resume, I think people should see through others more, should think about the people and think about themselves a lot more. Try to connect, to have contact, real contact, so we don't feel so alienated or alone. Give that weird kid you don't speak of a chance to talk to. Maybe 5 minutes. See what it's all about. Maybe give a compliment to a waiter or a waitress. Maybe give a tip to someone. And I don't mean money, maybe just an advice if you see someone feeling bad on the street. Maybe with a little more kindness and with a little more determination to do good, we can make more good, at least for our standards. Maybe things can be different. Sometimes I feel like we're losing a lot of possibilities forgetting that. And maybe that's what I'm speaking about all these things. All these things that I feel like people tend to forget because it's more comfortable. Because it's more understanding, more clear life without them. Instead of the chaotic mess it actually can be and is. It's more simple just to follow a path that you know how it goes, that you know how it works, that you have like the commandos for this game and you know how to play it very well. But if your life is simply a game and you're losing, you feel terrible. Life's not exactly a game. And it's not entirely not a game. Because you gotta have fun in the middle. You gotta enjoy it. You gotta try to be better. That's the game part. The human part is the fact that you don't respawn when you die. Your time is limited on the play and it's different for everyone. It's chaos in the mist. It's random. There is a lot of RNG in this situation. Another question should be like, which the hand that you have been dealt, how are you gonna play it? Do you wanna beat the RNG if you have a bad hand? Do you wanna try to be better and improve your already good hand? What is your ultimate goal? because this game has no definite winner, has no definite goal or trophy to acquire. In the end, everyone loses. Someone loses quicker than others, but there is no goal set here. The goal is the one you set with relationships, with people, with everything. Sometimes you reach those achievements, sometimes you don't. That's the beauty of the journey, that you literally have no control of the world around you, but you have control of yourself. And that is not the same that say, I control myself, so I control what comes from outside. You can control what you do. You cannot control what's outside. Value yourself because you and your identity and who you are that piece that it's literally the reason this system works. Because you have the will to face the unexpected of the universe, of the world that it's outside. Because you control who you are. You have that power to control something. So maybe try to aim for the best for you. And if you find people to go on the same way as you do, aim for the best for them too. Take decisions moment to moment. Don't think like there is some gear moving fate in a very structuralized way. To me, it's more like some guy trying to write a best-selling novel out of a lot of little notes of random ideas, trying to piece out together something cohesive, and the end feeling and understanding that that draft is terrible, horrible. It doesn't make sense, but the characters in there are developing. The world building sucks. So with that being said and noting that this video is going to be quite larger, I would like to simply don't have a finish for this. To leave you with my ideas and let you think about them. What you can get from me. What can I give you as a sort of new view, maybe. Maybe new ideas. Maybe even a simple joke, I don't know. Anything. And I would love to hear what anyone who could watch at this say in the comments about this. Because it could be fun, that exchange of ideas from people who are maybe looking for something different. Maybe you can create it. Maybe you can find it in somewhere else. Who knows? If you also are intrigued by the mystery of how everything of this works, like me, leave your ideas in the comments, even if they are not completely organized. Sometimes dumb rambling about existentialism and a lot of poor logic can say a lot more than a very structuralized commentary about why things are like this. Because one, it's come from a source that it's not used a lot these days, and the other one, you can find it at any blog or place where someone wants to debate using what they find or what they are writing, and then Google to add to what they're writing. So that being said, hope this is useful for all of you, and hope you enjoy this kind of talk about how I see the world. Just a little bit of how I understand the world. And if anything, tell me what you think too. I insist, I would love to see what you have found in your life up to this point. Your achievements, your scores. That would be amazing. Hope you are willing to share it with this random guy who just wants to have a little talk and maybe find some answers for myself through this process, because I am still quite lost in this game. Maybe you're not as lost as I did. Anyhow, see you around. Enjoy your game. Let's hope this run is good. Mine has a problem with its build. Hope yours not.